Welcome back, everyone. My name's Semicolon, and today I have something special for you. So, if you remember, I had a Dragonflight gold making cheat sheet, and we now have that for the War Within. However, I think this one is much better. It looks better, it's more intuitive, built better. So, I think everything about this version of the gold making cheat sheet is better than the prior one, and I hope you do too. But some quick things, I just want to kind of run through how this sheet works, what to expect, and then we'll go through some of the different tabs and you can see what's currently available. So when you open up this sheet, and there's going to be a link in the description of this video to access this sheet, on the left-hand side, you're going to see some basic information on how to use this sheet. The biggest and most important thing is you need to make a copy of this sheet. So you go up to File, and then click Make a Copy. And you can name it however you want, and then click Make a Copy. If you do not make a copy of the sheet, none of the cells will be editable, and you need to be able to edit cells in order to actually have this be productive for you. Beyond this kind of initial one, there's just a step-by-step on usage of the sheet, but we're going to kind of cover that information in this video. In the center here, we have the different professions and the recipes currently built into the sheet. As you can see, there's a lot of space, so I hope to fill up this space with additional recipes from the War Within. And then on the right-hand side here is just some important information about the sheet. So, for example, one of the biggest ones is only edit cells with the yellow background. So if you do edit cells that do not have that yellow background, it's going to break the sheet in some shape or fashion. So try to only stick to the yellow cells, but ultimately if the sheet does break for whatever reason, you can always come back to this main sheet and make a new copy of it. And then there's some additional information that is just important to this sheet, but not super important to cover in this video. Now, I do want to just mention one thing right at the beginning here. If you have any questions about using this sheet, or if there are particular recipes that you would like to see built into this sheet, my recommendation would be is, number one, you can either leave a comment on this video, but number two, and probably the more direct way to make suggestions, is actually going to be joining my Discord. And you can click this link down here to join my Discord. There's a channel in there that says Sheets Feedback, and you could just put whatever information you want in regards to the sheet in that particular channel. But the Discord's also great for just asking standard gold making questions and all that other good stuff. So check it out if you'd like. So moving forward, we'll first check out the Inscription tab. So looking at this tab, you can see there's a column for prices, profits, knowledge, shopping strings, and auction house cut calculator. So on the prices tab, what you would do is you would essentially update the prices for each one of these different items. Now you can use this auctionator shopping string by clicking in the box, copying it to your clipboard, and then you can go to an auction house, and within the auctionator shopping tab, you can click import, paste that shopping string that's in that sheet, and click import again. Once you do that, you will then have this shopping string pulled up and saved into your auctionator so that you can reference this shopping string anytime. So essentially, the way it works, the way I do it, is I will pull up the prices on the auction house, and then I will come into the sheet. So I think it's important adding, so right here I have asterisks by all the ranks. And the reason for that is two options. Number one, the recipe that you're doing doesn't depend on ranks. Or number two, buying a higher rank than really the cheapest option just isn't worthwhile. Now, this is going to be something that is kind of intuitive. You'll have to make the decision on. Right now, for example, buying any like a rank 3 flour to mill most likely isn't worth it, just because nobody's really using the rank 3 pigments, for example. And the product that you can make from these pigments is like the apricot ink. The rank 1 sells like crazy. So my point is, like right now with Inscription, just using rank 1 flowers is totally fine. But, you know, in 2 months, when maybe you're able to guarantee rank 3 mills from rank 2 flowers, then at that point it might be more worth specifically targeting like the rank 2 or rank 3 flowers. So there is a little intuition that has to come with that. And if you follow the channel, as that time progresses, I will make updates to this sheet, or, you know, also talk about it in videos or streams, whatever it may be. But you'll go through here and you'll just update the prices. So rank 1 Mycobloom right now is $42.91. The nacreous pigment is 40 gold. Lure drop rank 1 is $37.59. Lure drop pigment is $33.14. Orbinid 17.82. The pigment is 14.10. And lastly, Blessing Blossom, 15.69 and 9.88. So as you can see, as I was updating the prices, the profit section on this sheet was updating to reflect those changes. So looking at nacreous pigment, for example, if I were to go through and do this milling right now, I can see that it is profitable. Now, one of the downfalls of this sheet currently, but I am working to resolve, is you can't really customize the profitability. So looking at this right now and seeing it's 26,980 gold, telling you it is profitable, but you don't really know necessarily how many crafts that's going to be. So I am working on a separate version that will allow you to input the number of crafts that you want to do, and it will show you profitability from there. But the kind of core intention of this sheet is just to see if things are profitable, because I do a lot of like crafting, the crafting materials you need to craft. So I might look and see if nacreous and lure drop are worth milling, and if they are, then I'll go ahead and mill and just craft those into apricot inks, assuming apricot ink is profitable. That also is pretty much why I have this price per here. So what you could do is if you did want to do what I just explained and mill these 2 flowers to craft apricot ink, you could go into CraftSim and override prices and put that your nacreous pigment is 30 gold, 43 silver per pigment, and your lure drop is 27 gold, 9 silver per pigment, as opposed to what these prices over here are. And what that will allow you to do is see if, well, you're doing a price override, so it'll show if it's profitable, but it'll use the prices that you have because of your milling. So that's kind of the initial idea of the sheet. But again, I do think it would be helpful to add some customization in terms of number of crafts. So I am working on that, and that'll be available in a later version of the sheet. And then over to the right, we just have some information covering knowledge points. So these are the 2 knowledge trees, and as all of you are probably aware, we're so new into the expansion that we haven't been able to like fully unlock all knowledge necessary. So I put these green arrows just to kind of indicate that these are the 2 trees or the 2 nodes that you want to max out to kind of finish off your milling aspect of gold making. Now, I want to slide backwards just real quick here, and I just want to highlight this box here. So this says milling with 25% resourcefulness. So it's important that you just kind of keep in mind that these numbers are, this data was gathered with me having 25% resourcefulness. So if you have less resourcefulness, you could expect to see your profitability a little bit less. If you happen to have more resourcefulness, then your profitability will be more. So just kind of an important note. And in this section, I put all relevant information in terms of that. As we look at like the tailoring and jewel crafting, you'll see that there's some additional information other than just resourcefulness. And then lastly over here is just the Auction House cut calculator. I'm most likely actually going to remove that and just have its own individual tab here, but we do have the cut calculator kind of mixed throughout this sheet to hopefully help you get an idea, a better idea of what your profitability is. So looking at cooking, currently all we have is the portioned steak. So essentially crafting cinder bee belly into portioned steak and hot honeycomb. So again, we can see what the cost to do this craft is, what your profitability would be based off of that cost, and then what your price per hot honeycomb would be from this crafting. So again, this is going to be beneficial if you are wanting to process Cinderby Belly into hot honeycomb and portioned steak, and then use that hot honeycomb to do some additional cooking crafting. Here is a price source for what your hot honeycomb is, as opposed to the $43.94 that it was on the auction house. So again, you would just go into CraftSim, do a price override, and then CraftSim's average profit will update accordingly. And then once again, a shopping list for this particular recipe. I do definitely plan to add more cooking recipes. Cooking in Dragonflight was pretty popular, and I think it will be in War Within as well. So I will absolutely be getting additional recipes added to this sheet as time goes by. Looking at tailoring, again, it's kind of the same story. So we have unraveling. So here's our price list. Here's the cost to do the unraveling. So I think in this particular example, I bought 10,000 of each cloth. So to unravel spool of weaver thread, it would have cost 299,000 gold. The profit would have been 31,150 gold, and the price per spool of weaver thread is represented here. And then the same story with dusk thread and dawn thread. Now to just highlight this portion again, so I had the severed satchel bag equipped. So that particular item increases the amount of cloth you receive from unraveling by 1. So I had this equipped when I was going through and doing my unraveling. And then additionally, I was at 20% resourcefulness, and I used rank 2 cloth and thread. So, you know, that's kind of another one. I guess I could go through here and update these all to 2. But ultimately, you're really going to need to just look at the auction house, look at prices, and you can kind of input these prices based off of, you know, your current crafting situation. For example, in several weeks, maybe people can use rank 1 cloth to unravel, but guarantee they're going to get rank 2 thread. But maybe you're a new tailor and you don't have that ability. That's fine. Even if it says rank 2 here, just put in rank 2 weaver cloth and rank 1 weaver cloth and rank 1 weaver thread, if you know that the weaver thread rank 1 is going to be what your output is. And you'll still get accurate representative numbers, assuming you have the severed satchel bag equipped and you have a 20% resourcefulness or more. And I do plan on coming through and updating these numbers again, like as people max out on resourcefulness and all that good stuff. So the important thing to remember is that this sheet is going to be changing constantly. New versions of the sheet will be posted in Discord. So again, I would definitely encourage you to join my Discord if you want to be notified when new versions of the sheet have been published. Then looking at knowledge, thankfully for tailoring or specifically unraveling, knowledge isn't super impactful. So this, out of textile treasures, this bottom one here, I believe that's resourcefulness. You want to get that maxed out. That's kind of the most important one. And then under quality of fabric, this maxed out one here is specifically for unraveling. However, this main node, which is also called quality fabric, that does increase your skill. So I would recommend getting points into here if you were specifically wanting to focus on unraveling. But not that big of a deal. You might want to spend your knowledge points other places for profit as of now. And then lastly, looking at jewel crafting, this one is a bit more convoluted. So we're going to run through this here. And again, please leave a comment in the questions or a question in the comments if you do have any. But I think it's straightforward, albeit convoluted. So we have all the different types of ore. So just the 3 different types of ore. And then we have all the potential items you can receive from prospecting. Looking at profits. So I have this broken down by bismuth, acrite, iron claw, and handful of pebbles. So if you went through and you update all these prices, you can look and see, okay, prospecting bismuth is not profitable. if I were to prospect bismuth and then take all of the gems that I received from prospecting it and crush it, it as well is not profitable. Looking at Aquarite, it's the same story. Just prospecting it would be around a 6,000 gold profit. If you wanted to go through and crush all the gems you received from prospecting that Aquarite, you'd be looking at about 15,000 gold profit. Same story with Iron Claw, and then lastly, a handful of pebbles. So my experience, if this isn't blatantly obvious, I wasted a lot of gold gathering the data for prospecting. It was ungodly expensive. But also looking at the talent tree or the knowledge point tree, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for knowledge points still. I do think prospecting has a lot of potential. However, I think that potential is going to come when you get these trees maxed out. And also, I think prices on stuff is just still a little wonky. I mean, it's definitely still a little wonky. Like the season 1 hasn't even started yet. So as the auction house balances out, hopefully we see prospecting become a little bit more viable at that point. So that's basically it. And then of course we've got the shopping strings on all of these tabs: tailoring, cooking, jewel crafting, inscription. So that's kind of the meat and potatoes of the sheet so far. What I do, kind of like the next things I plan on adding, is bolt crafting within tailoring. So kind of gathering the data for that now, but also setting it up so if you were to craft the bolts from the unraveling that you did, how that impacts your profitability and that kind of thing. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And then, like I said, I am actively working on updating all of these tabs. I don't know if I'll be able to do the jewel crafting one just because it's honestly a bitch to do. Like if we look at this data tab, like all the numbers for jewel crafting is just, it's a lot. I would have to figure out averages for every one of these. We'll see. But my point is, I am working on basically the next version of the sheet so that you can input how many of this particular craft you'd want to do, what the cost of that craft will be based off of what you've updated in the price sheet, what you can expect for profit, what the price per of the final product is, and then also actually how much time you can expect to spend doing that particular craft. So stay tuned for that. All right, my friends, that is essentially the sheet as of now. I hope you find some use out of this sheet. I hope it benefits your gold making. Don't forget to join my Discord. It's going to be the best spot for new versions of the sheet, asking questions, making suggestions, but also subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/semicolon23. I try to stream once every 2-ish days. Sometimes it's daily. Sometimes I go 2-3 days without streaming. I have a newborn son, so it's kind of just when I can stream. So yeah, that's my spiel. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys are doing great in gold making, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.